Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I'm honored to sponsor Senate Bill number 2116 under Committee Report number 60, entitled An Act Providing for the Revised Philippine Coast Guard Law. This is my second time to sponsor this measure, as the same already passed third reading in the 19th Congress. Mr. President, my dear colleagues, nitong mga nakarang araw, buwan at taon, lagi po nating napapanood sa balita ang ating Philippine Coast Guard o PCG. Nakikita po natin silang hinaharas, binobomba ng tubig at binubuli sa West Philippine Sea. And while there are too many incidents to count, our Philippine Coast Guard continues to defend our sovereignty, assert our rights and protect our territorial waters while it exercises strategic restraint to protect lives, uphold international law, and strengthen the country's moral and legal position. As chairman of the Committee on Public Services and a PCG Auxiliary Rear Admiral, I am committed to push for better policies for the PCG. Through numerous public hearings and surprise ocular inspections I conducted, I have seen how quick PCG respond when called out. The PCG ensures accountability when concerned personnel who were negligent after a thorough investigation were penalized following the sinking of MV Tricia Kirsten Tree in waters of Basilan. To maintain peace and order, the PCG also deployed hundreds of its personnel and K-9 teams across all MRT and LRT train stations. PCG also responded to the call of heightened monitoring of motor bangkas and use life jackets. Kung gaano sila kasipag gampanan ang kanilang trabaho, nakita ko rin ng maraming kakulangan upang maiangat ang estado ng mga tauhan at imahe ng institusyong ito. This is the very reason why I'm here today to sponsor the revised Philippine Coast Guard law. While the PCG is the oldest Coast Guard in Southeast Asia at 125 years old, there remains critical gaps in the governing law that we aim to address through this landmark measure. This bill seeks to repeal Republic Act number 9993, otherwise known as the Philippine Coast Guard Law of 2009, as amended to allow PCG to be more responsive to emerging maritime threats, increasing international obligations, and rapid developments in the maritime domain that have outpaced the agency's current capabilities. RA number 9993 has already been proven to be insufficient to enable the PCG to meet the present and future demands, more particularly in the geopolitical changes that the country is facing right now. Thus, Senate Bill number 2116 under Committee Report number 60 institutionalizes a stronger organizational structure for the agency tasked to patrol the West Philippine Sea by establishing three core functional commands: Maritime Safety Services, Marine Environmental Protection, and Maritime Security Law Enforcement. It also establishes various support commands and service units, ensuring that the Coast Guard is more efficient, well-organized, and able to adapt to the complexities of modern maritime challenges. This reform will improve the operational effectiveness of the PCG, enabling it to fulfill its mission of securing our territorial waters and responding swiftly to maritime threats. One of the key provisions of this bill is the sufficiency of the minimum manning level of the PCG in line with the country's vast coastline. Given the Philippines has one of the longest coastlines in the world at more than 36,000 kilometers, it is imperative that we ensure the PCG has sufficient personnel to meet the growing demands of safeguarding our waters. This provision will address the current gaps in manpower, allowing for more comprehensive patrolling and faster response times to emergencies. This legislation also expands the powers and functions of the PCG to include, number one, the supervision of wreck removal and auction of abandoned vessels or wrecks. Number two, enforcement and maintenance of maritime security and prevention or suppression of terrorism at sea. And lastly, number 3, the power to recommend to the President to issue rules and regulations pertaining to the assistance and support that the Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, should extend to the PCG during emergencies. It will also empower the PCG to conclude international agreements for the procurement of materials and equipment. This provision is crucial in enabling the Coast Guard to access the most advanced technology and equipment, ensuring that it remains at the forefront of maritime security and environmental protection. This legislation aims to ensure that only the most qualified among the ranks shall hold the PCG commandant, who shall be appointed by the President of the Philippines from among the flag officers in the Coast Guard service holding the rank and position of Vice Admiral at the time of such appointment. The commandant shall have earned a Command at Sea badge and must have served as district commander. Accordingly, this measure also lays out the powers and functions of the PCG commandant, which cannot be found in RA 9993. This measure also adjusts the base pay of the PCG commandant or admiral, together with the PCG vice admirals, to be at par with their AFP and PNP counterparts. The PCG admiral is a 4-star flag officer, but is currently receiving the base pay equivalent to the base pay of vice admirals and lieutenant generals of AFP and police lieutenant generals of the PNP, who are all 3-star generals or flag officers. In addition, the PCG Vice Admiral, a 3-star flag officer, is only receiving a base pay equivalent to the pay of a 2.5-star rank officer compared to his AFP and PNP counterparts. Through this measure, we will be able to remove this disparity in pay. This bill also streamlines the personnel management of the PCG, with clear provisions on appointments, promotions, and separations for officers, non-officers, and non-uniformed personnel. It establishes ranks and grades for officers and non-officers and sets a maximum tenure of individuals in rank. Most importantly, it ensures that personnel are given the benefits and retirement packages they deserve, including retirement, separation, and disability benefits. Moreover, together with the expansion of the PCG organization, this bill sees it fit to include the classification of technical officers, such as lawyers and dentists, who shall be recruited as needed. In order to maintain discipline and accountability within the ranks, the bill also establishes a PCG Code of Conduct and the Coast Guard Internal Affairs Service, which will oversee the ethical standards and conduct of all personnel. The Philippine Coast Guard plays an often dangerous role in ensuring the safety and security of our waters, our maritime resources, and the livelihoods of millions of Filipinos. It is high time that we provide the necessary support, recognition, and organizational structure to empower the PCG to fulfill its mission effectively. I urge my distinguished colleagues to please support this bill. The men and women of the PCG embody the best of the Filipino spirit, undaunted by challenge, undeterred by danger, and united in our purpose to serve the nation. And they really fully deserve to have a stronger structural organization. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President.